Joining us now is John Flavin, the founder and CEO of Portal Innovations. John, great to have you with us.
Thanks, Melissa. Great to join.
We were just talking, we probably talk every night about GLP-1 drugs in the pipeline, GLP-1 drugs that are out in market right now. How much of the oxygen is being consumed in the venture space in terms of capital by the weight loss category? And how do you think about it, since we do have such huge companies with huge market share right now already in the space?
Well, it's a very exciting space. Obviously, first generation GLP-1 drugs, advanced by Lilly and Novo have been quite transformative and a breakthrough for many cardiometabolic diseases. Naturally, the eyes turn to the pipeline, not only the competitive landscape, but how do these companies improve either the dosing profile or, in the case of GLP-1 drugs, some of the untoward side effects that are experienced, such as muscle loss. And so there's a whole wave of new technologies, companies, and venture investments that are being made at the front end of the process to get a pipeline in place. Many of these reside oftentimes beginning in a university. We've invested in a company called Centus that spun out of Bob Langer's lab. He's the co-founder of Moderna, and out of MIT. And it's a company called Centus that's working on an alternative that's a polymer that is delivered by pill to the small intestine to be able to add to the armamentarium of obesity drugs that aren't acting necessarily the same way as GLP-1, because many of these patients need to be managed after they wean off of that first generation drug. So it's an exciting time. Obviously, a lot of activity in the space. The estimates right now are it's a $30 billion market right now, going to almost 1.5 billion patients worldwide in obesity, going to a $100 billion market size. So it's a very attractive area for investments.
So going back to Centus for just a moment, John, I mean, basically it mimics bariatric surgery. I mean, it's how does that actually work?
Yeah, it's delivered. It's a coating that goes to the small intestine or duodenum, where the food is digested and absorbed, and that really is also a trigger for these pathways, GLP-1 and others, that are causing obesity in patients. And this drug may act in a fashion. It's just entering clinical trials, so there's a long way to go to get to the point where it's being approved by the FDA. But the attractive features of it are that its delivery is elegant, and the safety profile, at least early on in preclinical models, is promising.
John, just to follow up on the GLP sort of taking up all the oxygen in the room, when you look at where you're standing on the FDA phase 1, 2, and 3, how much have GLPs really clogged up the system for other drugs that are coming through the pipeline? Has it extended that timeline that it's taking a drug to make it from phase 1 to phase 3?
No, it has not. I mean, FDA has been highly efficient. If you look at the numbers of NDAs that are getting approved, they're on par with, if not more than, what's been seen in the recent past. So we're not seeing any delays. In fact, it's a very exciting time beyond, cardiometabolic disease, as we see in various areas such as oncology, with new modalities like ADC, which has been a big area of investment by companies. You've seen a lot of takeouts with Pfizer buying Seagen, and AbbVie buying Immunogen. You have a lot of activity right now in the neuro field. So I think that's going to be a promising area for investment, where you'll see more breakthroughs. It was obviously exciting to see the FDA advisory panel unanimously vote to be favorable for the Alzheimer's drug for Lilly. So I think that's going to really open up a dawn of new activities around brain disease drugs, neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's and others. And we're seeing a lot of companies in that space that have either recently come public, that have products in the clinic, that I think we're going to be watching very closely.
How has technology sped up the preclinical and also clinical stages, especially for the companies that you invest in terms of costs and in terms of time? And I'm thinking of things like AI, which of course everybody's talking about, but also other technologies like brain organoids and the use of those in the study of science and neurological diseases.
Well, we're really excited about some of the applications of AI and even quantum, as you think about the convergence of that technology for simulation. So although it's early in the field, the applied nature of what can be done for simulation to speed up not only the discovery process, for example, molecular modeling and building the right molecule before it even reaches a patient, is obviously a way that we can be more effective from a cost management perspective. But even in clinical trial development, simulation studies and those kinds of things, we believe that AI will play a very important role in that feature. Really excited today with what happened here in Chicago with Tempus AI getting public with their debut, priced at the high end of the range, seemed to trade up by the end of the day. That's good. I think anything that's working, in their case, they're applying AI for diagnostic tools to make sure we're selecting the right patients to treat them with the right drugs and do that in a very rapid fashion. So that's going to be really cost effective on the back end.